Hello everyone and welcome back to my kitchen. For today's recipe, we're going to prepare these delicious fried quesadillas made with potatoes, chorizo, and lots of cheese.
We're going to start by adding 3 cups of corn flour to a large bowl, along with 1 teaspoon of salt and about 2 cups of very warm water. I'm going to start by adding 1 cup of water. I'm going to mix that one in. Then we're going to continue to add more water a little bit at a time until the masa comes together. You can use this exact same recipe to prepare tortillas as well. If you happen to add a little bit too much water, it's okay to sprinkle a little bit of corn flour until your dough comes together and it's nice and smooth like this. With the 3 cups of corn flour, I used a little bit over 2 cups of water. You want the masa to be nice and firm, but not too soft to where it's sticking to your hands. Once it reaches this point, we're going to cover it in plastic and we're going to allow it to rest for about 15 to 20 minutes. You can also prepare the dough ahead of time, refrigerate it, and use it as needed. And it can last up to 3 days in the refrigerator. Meanwhile, we're going to peel and dice 4 small Yukon Gold potatoes into small bite-sized pieces. You can also use any other potato of your choice. Boil the potatoes in a medium stock pot with 1 teaspoon of salt for about 5 to 7 minutes or until the potatoes are nice and tender. Meanwhile, we're going to mince half a white onion, mince 2 large garlic cloves, and 1 to 2 serrano peppers to add a little bit of heat, but that is completely optional. For the filling for the quesadillas, we're going to use 10 ounces of pork longaniza. We're going to start by removing it from the packaging. You can also use regular chorizo. I prefer to use the longaniza because it has less fat and it has a much firmer texture, which is why I'm going to add a little bit of vegetable oil before adding in the longaniza. If you're using regular chorizo, I don't recommend you add oil because the chorizo already has a lot of fat. Break it down with your spoon and cook for about 7 to 10 minutes over medium-high heat. Once it looks like this, add in the minced vegetables and cook for an additional 2 to 3 minutes or until they're nice and withered and fragrant. Drain out the potatoes and add it into the pan with the chorizo. Using a potato smasher, smash the potatoes until they're well incorporated with the rest of the ingredients. While you're doing so, you want to have the burner set at a low heat. When it's done, it should have a similar texture to mashed potatoes. And now to prepare the quesadillas. To prepare the quesadillas, I'm going to use a tortilla press. For the plastic, I use a large Ziploc bag. I trim around the edges to fit the size of my tortilla press. And each time I use it, I wash it and dry it and place it between the tortilla press and reuse it as needed. Take a small amount of the masa and roll it into a 1-inch round. Once it's nice and smooth, we're going to lightly flatten it and place it between the 2 layers of plastic. Gently press down until you have a 5 to 6 inch round. Remove the top layer of the plastic, add a generous spoonful of the chorizo and the potatoes, and a handful of your favorite melting cheese. Make sure the fillings are centered right in the middle of the tortilla so it's easier to close. Fold it close along with the plastic and gently press around the edges, making sure the quesadilla is completely sealed. Then carefully remove it from the plastic. Place it on a plate lined with parchment paper, and we're going to continue to make a few more before we take it over to the stove to fry them. You can also use this recipe to prepare fried taquitos, but I find that when making fried taquitos, the filling spills out from the sides and it makes a big mess. Making them this way avoids all that, but you can choose to make them either way. Preheat your oil over medium-high heat. A great way to check to see if the oil is ready is by inserting a wooden spoon. If it bubbles, the oil is ready. Very carefully place the quesadilla in the oil and fry for about a minute on each side. Gently splash oil over the quesadilla. This is going to help the top of the quesadilla cook, and when you flip it over, it's not going to fall apart. Once it has a nice golden color on the bottom half, using 2 spoons, very carefully flip the quesadilla over and cook for an additional minute or until it's nice and golden. As you remove them from the oil, place them on a plate lined with a clean paper towel to soak off some of the excess oil. Let's open one up and see what they look like on the inside. And look how nice and cheesy they are. You can enjoy them just like this, or you can top them off with your favorite toppings like lettuce, tomato, queso cotija, and of course don't forget to top it off with your favorite salsa. And enjoy!